Welcome back, everyone. It is Monday, April 28th in the MLB, and we are back with our two best bets of the day. Logan and I took the weekend off to hopefully rest and recover from what has been a disaster of an MLB season so far. If we are to recap, technically yesterday is not the right terminology. It was on Friday, a 1-2 day. Austin Hayes got a hit, but Kwan didn't play. Of course, Kwan goes and gets a hit in the rest of the games in that series. And then we had Bobby and Pena. His hit parlay ends, and once you know, he gets a hit in the rest of the series. And then Yamamoto saved his worst stuff for us. What do you have? 4 walks, 32 pitch, first inning, just not going to get it done there. We know it's been a disaster of a season, but we really are confident it can turn around. We've done hot in the NBA, hot in the ladder challenge. We need to get hot in the MLB, and hopefully that starts today. Logan and I each have one pick, and hopefully go 2-0. That's all we want to do. I'm still out in Pensacola, hopefully cooking you guys up some winners. NBA video will follow this in probably an hour or two, but I'll dive into my favorite prop of the day. Logan's got a game pick, and it's the one that I really, really like, and it's going to be Brendan Donovan over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs minus 120 on Bet365, a 1-unit play. This might give Logan PTSD because he took Brendan Donovan in a hit parlay, didn't come through, and once you know, if you look at his last 20 games, he has one game where he didn't get a hit. Which one do you think it was? The one that we managed to back him. So hopefully he's not a candidate for the COS Hall of Shame, because that would be pretty tough. But I love all of his chances today. Not only do I think this guy has a good chance of getting 1 or 2 hits, but I love the matchup he has. And I love the guys in front of him, behind him. And I really think this guy could easily get on base, get hit around, or get a chance with some runners in scoring position. And he's been one of the best hitters in baseball so far this season. In fact, if you're looking at just his percentiles and you go to his baseball savant chart, a lot of red out there. I mean, we're looking at a guy that is 97th percentile in whiff percentage, 92nd in K percentage, and something you don't see too often, 100th percentile in expected batting average. Brendan Donovan, that is. So he has been crushing the baseball. Now, if you think about the matchup, today you'll get Nick Martinez and the Reds, who return back from getting a sweep in Colorado. They're helping out our future, which we love to see. And honestly, the futures are the only thing looking bright on the channel so far for the MLB, but gives us some hope. We can cash our futures, win back some of those units we have lost, but we can't be counting on that. But again, we look at Nick Martinez, who will start for the Reds. He's not been the greatest pitcher. I mean, this is a guy rocking a 5.9 ERA at home. We look at the matchup. Brendan Donovan, I've seen him well. He's been up to plate 5 times against Martinez. He has a hit in 3 of them and a walk in one of the other ABs, including a home run. So he's really hit him well. On the season, he's batting 392 versus righties, 429 on the road, and 375 over his last 7 days. So like I said, he's been really good. And we look at Martinez, tough, worse to lefties. Donovan is a lefty. He's allowing a 275 batting average to lefties. And when we look at the pitch mix that he's going to see, this is what Nick Martinez throws to lefties. A lot of changeups, 31% of the time, 28% four seam, and then the cutter, 26%. So like those 3 pitches are the top 3. He will throw a curveball about 11% of the time, but again, it's mostly the changeup, four seam, and cutter. And we've seen Donovan this season. He's been crushing those pitches. I mean, it's hard not to when you're batting near 400, but he's got a 400 batting average versus the changeup from a righty with a 331 expected batting average, 400 versus the four seamer with a 428 expected batting average. And then he is 2 for 2 versus the cutter, but with a 347 expected batting average last year, 417 batting average versus the cutter, by far his best against any pitch from righties. So again, I look at all these splits. I think this is a guy that's been putting the ball in play, and I really like his chances today. Like I said, I also like the guys in front of him. We're thinking about Lars Nootbaar. He's owning a over 400 on base percentage versus right-handed pitchers. William Contreras was off to a terrible start, but he is slow, or I think Wilson. Either way, he's been off the terrible start, but he's been starting to turn around, batting 375 over the last 7 days with a 483 on base percentage. If you go to the guys at the bottom of the lineup, the 8-9 guys, that's Victor Scott, Mason Wynn, those guys have over 300 on base percentage to righties. So again, those guys, if we can get some guys on base, we can get a Donovan with a hitter and a runner in scoring position. That's where he's been dominating, batting 387. I don't love Arenado's matchup behind him. He's been struggling a little bit versus righties, but still does have some experience here against Nick Martinez. So again, I love all the chances for him to get on base, get a RBI, or to get a run, or to do anything, and all the things in between. Should be some good weather out in Great American Ballpark in Cincy. So my favorite pick of the day, Brendan Donovan, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. That's my favorite play. Sticking to it. Shorter slate. We don't need to force a lot of picks, especially how the season has gone. Tomorrow, the hit parlays will probably return. I was going to do Donovan, but couldn't really find another guy that I liked, so I'd rather do the HRR. But Logan, I heard you got a game pick for the people today, and I'm a big fan of it. Where are you going out for your favorite pick?
Yeah, so today for my game pick, I'm taking the Yankees and Orioles over 9.5, -115 odds on Caesars is your best value there. Now, I am trusting these two teams for an over. I like both these starting pitchers to give up some hits and runs, Sagano and Warren. Let's talk about Sagano, who starts for the Orioles today. 3.54 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. He's allowed 2 home runs in each of his last two starts. That's not good for him. His mistake pitches are hit hard. And that's the sign of a pitcher I want to fade is when they're making mistakes. What are teams doing with it? Well, Sakano's had 2 home runs in each of his last two starts, as I just mentioned. That means teams are capitalizing on his mistakes. Also, you look at his baseball savant numbers: ninth percentile in expected ERA, 1.1 expected ERA. That's terrible. Seventh percentile in expected batting average with a 3.10 expected batting average. I mean, he's just bottom of the barrel in a lot of those expected metrics. So he's a candidate for like prime regression. And I think this Yankees team is the team to really capitalize on that. They're hitting 255 versus righties this season, which is really solid. And again, there's a lot of power bats in that Yankees lineup that I think can really make Sagano pay for mislocation. So I do think they get some hits and runs up on Sagano. And then on the other side, it's Will Warren starting for the Yankees, 4.79 ERA, 1.26 WHIP. For Will Warren, the thing about Will Warren, he's prone to hard hits. When he's not missing bats, when he actually is getting barreled up, he's getting hit very hard. 8th percentile in average exit velo, 16th percentile in hard hit percentage. Again, this is an Orioles team and an Orioles offense that's coming off a shutout loss yesterday to Scooble and the Tigers. The good thing about the Orioles, though, they're not facing a lefty today. Because against lefties, they're only hitting 178, which is just atrocious. Much better versus right-handed pitching, hitting 243 on the season. And then you look at the Orioles at home too. That's where I want to back them when they're playing at Camden, because they have the highest WRC plus at 162 in the majors and OPS 901 OPS versus righties at home. This is one of those teams that, again, offensively at Camden, you back them. On the road, you question which version of the Orioles you're going to get. And runs up on him. And then we go to the bullpens. Once each of these two starting pitchers are out, Yankees bullpen played a doubleheader yesterday. They used 5 relievers, which means number one, those high leverage arms could not, they might not be in the rotation today. Or number two, they leave Will Warren in just a little bit longer than they probably should. And then maybe they have the big inning on Will Warren. And then the Orioles bullpen on the other side, not great at all this season. 24th in bullpen ERA, sitting at a 4.75 ERA for their bullpen. There's a lot of relievers in that Orioles bullpen that I think the Yankees will be able to absolutely light up. So again, I see lots of hits and runs in the starting and in the bullpen. I just need these teams to bring the bats today, and we cash this over.
Yeah, Logan, I completely agree with you. I tried to back the O's on the road for an over, and that was an absolute disaster. But they've been crushing righties at home. I think I looked at it when you were typing up the pick. I think they have 4 earned runs or more on like 5 straight righty starters at home. So hopefully they can bring the bats. Yankees can do their job, and let's get a winner. Let's get 2 winners today. A reminder: our 2 picks: Donovan HRR and the over in the Yankees and Orioles game, which I had a typo on the screen, and it's not 8.5, it is 9.5 or 10 on some books, which we like as well. Logan, let's go 2-0. Let's get the vibes going, and let's keep things. Let's hopefully get on a hot streak. We certainly are due one. We again appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's Austin Logan signing out, and we'll see you guys back again tomorrow with some more picks.